we'll start out with the hard one. So first of all, here we can see the thighs. We open up along the thigh, right along here. We can begin to trace out the blood vessels, right? And that's what you'll be working on later on, is tracing out the blood vessels along here. Here's the inguinal ring. You want to be careful when you open that up not to lose the vas deferens. So the first thing we're going to do, let's see, these guys, I'm going to rotate this around a bit. So first thing we'll do is continue to break through the rectus abdominis towards the penis. And then we're going to come above the penis and begin peeling the skin back. You may not need to use a scalpel for this. That would make your life a lot easier if you didn't have to. Now the skin here is what we would commonly call the foreskin. Anatomically it's called the prepuce. And so we can begin, I'm going to do a bit of rotating here, I'm sorry about that. We begin to see the penis there. We got a little opening here, which is the urethral orifice. We stick our scissors in there and gently break it apart. We can actually take that last layer of the prepuce off, and there's the penis itself. And so here we can see what we would commonly call the head of the penis, anatomically called glans penis. This is the portion that's homologous to the clitoris. You might recall that from when your parents had to talk with you. I'm sure that came up. And then, let's see how far in we can get. We can't do as much in here as I'd like to because they have so many accessory sex glands associated with them. But let's see. Come in here, break this up a little bit. Again, same technique, going in carefully breaking. Here we can see a tube. That's the vas deferens right there. We got a little bit of fat around here, so we gently break all that apart. Here we can see the testicular artery and vein heading out towards the scrotum. It'll join with the vas deferens to make a composite structure called the spermatochore. So some of these animals, depending on how much fat you have, you might be able to come all the way down to see the base of the penis right there, which would be called the bulb of the penis. And so there's a pair of small mucus glands we won't be able to expose called bulbourethral glands. We won't be able to see those, but don't worry, we've got plenty of other glands here. For example, here are two glands. This one that's on the outside that's dark is the vesicular gland, and the paler gland it wraps around is the coagulating gland. Here we can see our bladder, and on either side of the bladder, we have a little swollen structure right there and right there. Those are the prostate. Unlike a human that has one prostate, this has a right and left prostatic lobe. So far so good. Again, we can snip away a little bit of skin here so you can expose a little bit more of the penis. I feel like I'm saying something that will be aired on Fox News, not in a good way. But as we look down here, we can see, I'm not sure how much you can see, but if you get down there, you'll see the base of the penis coming out of the pelvis. Now, what we could try to do is get behind here and open up the pubic symphysis. I'm just not thinking it's worth our time with these rats because we have so many accessory sex organs. Now, for the females, definitely, and that's why we'll be doing a little bit more with the blood vessels on the females than the males. Again, same thing though, we can open this up a bit. This is a muscular tributary, this blood vessel here. We just, unfortunately, going to have to lose that to show anything else. And here we can see there's the femoral artery and vein coming out. There's the inguinal ring right there that they're coming through. So we can cut down in that direction carefully. So it opens up and now you can see it here. So there's our femoral. Here's the external iliac artery and vein back here, and you trace it up higher and you'll see where they join, which will be the common iliac artery and vein. Okay? You're going to have a real hard time finding the internal iliacs with all the other organs we have here, but there it is. going diving into the pelvis right there. Once you get beyond the rim of the pelvis, it's no longer descending colon, now you're on rectum. Okay, for this part here. Alright, so now exposing the testicle. There's still a little bit of fat here, but I wouldn't worry too much about it because it's wrapped up around the blood vessels and you don't want to lose those for obvious reasons. So here's the scrotum. We're going to open up the scrotum on one side. We're not going to open up both scrotal sacs. There's really no need to. And of course, the scrotum's an easy thing. You want me to tag that on the test. So, rotating this thing around again, just driving general nuts. This is really easy. It's not a lot of technique. Snip, expand out, and there we are. So we're going to start to expose the testicles. See, I'm still using my separating technique there. Make sure I'm not taking anything else by mistake. And here we can begin to see the testis, and it's not just hanging in there, it's actually held in place by connective tissues, which kind of makes sense when you think about it. You want this to be better protected than the way we visualize them. There's a lot of fat in rat testes. It's kind of odd. We don't see that with a lot of other animals. But it could be partially because rats, hamsters have those long dangling scrota that drag behind them. And the adipose tissue, the extra adipose tissue is for mechanical support and protection. But there's the testy there. You still got a little work to do to see things. Again, separating away the fat will help a lot. So we've got a little bit of connective tissue holding this in place still. We want to get rid of that so we can see things. There we go. And what we have here is more than just the testicle. There's a lot of stuff in here, and so we need to do a little clean to find it all. And again, that's going to be breaking away fat for the most part. All right, so. A little cleaning along here too. So there's the testy itself. It's not worth cutting it open. With a larger animal, you could see the seminiferous tubules, but I remember one time doing a dissection on a bull testicle, which was quite a bit larger than this, and even with that one, it was hard to see much of the seminiferous tubules. So for an animal the size of the rat, it's not going to be worth it. But here we can see a C-shaped organ coming off the cranial margin down to the caudal margin, the testy. This C-shaped organ is called the epididymis. And it's wider at top and narrows at the bottom, so it's said to have a head, a body, and then a tail. Okay? So if I tag the epididymis and say name this organ and the portion tagged, it would be head of epididymis, body of epididymis, tail of epididymis. And so sperm goes into the head of the epididymis first. There's actually a bunch of ducts here called the efferent ducts. We'll talk more about that later. And then go into a singular duct running the length of the body and tail called ductus epididymis. And then it connects to another tube, which we can see right here, and that's going to be our vas deferens. And again, we can see how our vas deferens is going to come up in. Here I'm opening up that inguinal ring again, gently separating it apart. I'm going to take it only on one side. And here now, as I break some of this fat away, we can begin to see that a lot better. So here, we can see a multicolored structure. There's white, there's pink, and there's blue. The pink and the blue are the testicular artery and veins, respectively. And the white is the vas deferens, the sperm-carrying tube, which you'll see, especially on the left side here, is going to come up and curve down behind the bladder. There it's going to empty into a vessel that drains both the bladder and the vas deferens called the urethra, which carries that urine to the external environment and the sperm to the external environment. So that's pretty much it, except for tracing out the blood vessels a little better. Ismail, you still have a little bit of cleaning to do here, but not too much, just to make things a little easier for you to see. But really, for the most part, that's it. Everything's big and easy to find on these guys compared to things like the cat, which